Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Israel Update, everybody. We are uh, actually live coming at you right now. Those of you that are watching, I know some of you might have been expecting Renee, but it's actually myself, Christy, and Doobie is joining me. So, Doobs, I'm going to see if you're there and say, come on in and join me on this show. Is he with us? Do we have him? There he is.
Yes, I'm here. I'm right here. Thank you, Christy, for having me. I'm sorry that on my end it's going to be a little bit rough now. I'm stuck in
That's
London.
okay.
You know, the Israeli airspace is locked and we cannot go back home. So I'm here in London and I'm just taking the opportunity to be in my son's restaurant. I told everybody to be quiet, but if there'll be some noise, you have to understand me. I'm sorry.
It's not a problem, Dubes. It's not a problem at all. So obviously, Dubes, what we're talking about today, we're talking about Israel being at war. You know, there's different people saying, Amy from Florida, you're watching. Hi, listening from Indiana. Hi, Sherry. Hi to everybody there on the chat who's watching. But Dubes, give us a sense of what this feels like. I know for you, you were out of the country because of your son getting married. Thanks be to God that your family is safe. But obviously, you were out while all these strikes started happening. So I know that we also, I saw not that long ago a kindergarten. Thank God there weren't children in school, but a kindergarten was hit with an Iranian missile. So the thing that's obviously so evident to those of us that have got functional brains is that the Iranians are targeting civilian areas, the Israelis are targeting military areas in Iran. So tell us about what that's like right now, what it's like for your family that are in Israel, and what it's like being stuck out the country.
Well, a little bit on the personal note, last week I went to Morocco to my son's wedding, and this was
Yes.
a great celebration. People from Israel, from the US, from UK, so many people came over to celebrate with us, and this was on last Thursday. And as the wedding ended, we started to hear the news about the Israeli preemptive strike and attack on Iran,
Yeah.
on their nuclear facilities, and immediately, a few hours later, they Moroccans, they brought some security around, and were many Israelis in the area and a lot of Jewish people. So it
Yeah.
was a little bit stressful, but definitely, Morocco and the Moroccan kingdom, the king of Morocco and the people, they are very protective of the Jews, and we didn't really suffer much
Thank God.
of turmoil. And but on the other hand, it was a little bit stressful and scary. Eventually, all of our flights were canceled
Mm,
because immediately the airspace of Israel was locked down by the government just to add extra security layer to the Israeli airspace should the Iranians would attack back, and they were attacking back. So until this moment, the Israeli airspace is closed. I mean, there have been a few
mm,
rescue flights for some people,
yes.
mainly soldiers and military people that needed to come back home to Israel immediately to join the armed forces and so on, and some humanitarian cases. But in general, until this moment, Israel is locked down and not able to go back home. And on a personal level, and on a national level, on a national scale, Israel launched a preemptive attack over the over the Iranian nuclear facilities and some of their missile launching capacities, because the Iranians have been investing a lot into their missile
Yes.
abilities and all their batteries, and this is their strategy. As you said before, they couldn't care less if they strike and hit civilians.
No.
For them, victory is either they hit as many civilians on our side, or if we, God forbid, hit civilians on their side. If we're going to hit
It's still a
civilians on their
victory for
side,
them.
yeah, if we're going to hit civilians on their side, they're going to provoke the entire international community to come against Israel and force us to stop. And if they're going to hit civilians on our side, this is their victory, because that's where they're aiming for. And just as we speak right now, about half an hour ago, an Iranian missile landed in Haifa, which is a mixed city, hitting a Muslim mosque, and some Muslim religious people were injured and hit over there. We're still waiting to hear the news of what
Wow,
happened to
dudes.
them. So they don't
Wow.
care less, either Christians,
No.
Jews, Muslims, civilians. This is a legit target for the Iranians, has been launching hundreds of rockets into Israel so far, mainly aimed at civilian centers. They were hitting few hospitals in Israel,
Yes.
condominiums, skyscrapers. They don't care where they're
No.
hitting. They say these are military targets, but that's a huge lie. They hit the Soroka Hospital in Beersheba, and showing a
In
poor,
Beersheba.
stupid illustration as if there were tanks under the hospital. They are so stupid. And if there were tanks under the hospital, these tanks can reach Tehran. These tanks can go a
Yes,
1,000 miles away from here to strike
please.
them through several Arab countries on the way. They are the biggest liars in the world, and I don't get it why the Americans are not already being more involved. And the American regime, we are waiting for Donald Trump to make the decision, because I know for sure that once the Americans are going to join in, the Iranians will fall back. They have no leverage,
Yeah.
no ability. They think that this is still the situation when Israel is fighting alone. As I see, the more of their missiles are hitting Israeli ground, it means that we are kind of probably running out of interceptors, which is my biggest fear right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And eventually, you know, if the situation will escalate and more Israeli civilians will be injured or hit, Israel will have no choice but to use some of the, I don't know, the day of judgment weapons, because we're not going to let
Yes.
our people die. So it's
No.
better for the Americans, whoever wants to see this war finished, to come in and step into the plate and just destroy the abilities of the Iranians to attack Israel, and to make sure that they
Yes.
will not have any nuclear weapons. Should they already had nuclear weapons in their
It'd be
hands, can you imagine what would happen with Israel? We will be turned into
yes.
dust right now. And that's the situation. That's why Israel went into this war, and that's why Israel is pursuing this war, because we want to eliminate the threat and the fear of the people of Israel and many others in the world, because they're not only intimidating Israel, they threaten
Everybody.
America. Every time when they said death to Israel, right
Death to
next to it, they
America.
said death to America. They call us the little devil. They
Yes.
call America the big devil. So people has to wake up and realize what Netanyahu was saying the other day is right. First, they go after Tel Aviv, and if they'll be able to strike Tel Aviv, they'll go after
100%.
New York. So it's better for the people and the powers of justice, righteousness, and freedom and democracy to intervene right now and take the step forward in order to make sure that this regime that means nothing by terrorism, and that's what they mean, should be stopped
Yes.
immediately. That's what we're seeing, and that's what we need to pray for. We need to pray for this regime to vanish. There's enough people in Iran, literally right now, standing on the baseline, waiting to get into the game and push this regime out and take over and bring democracy to the people of Iran, which are well deserving. Netanyahu gave a speech not too long ago, and he spoke to the people of Iran, and he said, "You are not
Yes.
our enemies." As a matter of fact, you can see before Israel is striking in Iran, the first thing that they're doing is they're sending a warning to the people of Iran, either by text message, either by telephones, either by pamphlets, and tell them to evacuate, to get away from there, to make sure that they clear the space so they will not be harmed. And on the other hand, they don't give any warnings. They shoot at us directly to
As many
injure, to
people.
kill, and to steal lives as much as they can in Israel. That's
That
what
is
we're
what we're
dealing
dealing
with.
with. And again, something to be made very clear, Bibi Netanyahu said it. The issue here is not with the people of Iran. The people of Iran are celebrating what Israel's doing right now because the people of Iran want freedom and liberation from this horrendous regime that has been subjugating them since 1979. The people want freedom. There's, a lot of Iranian Jews have been around and they've been forced to flee and because of being persecuted. So the people of Iran are not what that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the regime. And this is something that I said, I think, on the broadcast with Donay. The terrifying thing about nuclear weapons, which is why what Israel is doing is genuinely putting a stop to a nuclear world war by taking this away from Iran. What it
Yes,
took Hitler from
yes.
1933 to 1945 to accomplish, and the murdering of 6 million Jews, Iran could accomplish in a couple of minutes if they got hold of a nuclear weapon. And we have to remember the world Jewish population today is still not at the level it was pre-World War II. And so you realize what happens when that kind of genocidal mania is allowed to go unchecked. Hitler kept saying, "This is what I'm going to do," and he did it. The Grand Ayatollah, the varying leaders of Iran, have been saying and screaming and shouting for decades now, "We want to wipe out the Jews," and it's time that people, the Western leaders, listen. Now, thank God, President Trump, it looks like he's at least stepping in and looks like he's doing something. But like Duby said, the interceptors.
But the biggest problem right now, it's not even the interceptors. The biggest problem right now, it's the fact that America is holding back from intervening, from coming into this situation with hand cleans and coming into the situation, and they seems like they are wavering between the two opinions, whatever, what gives the opportunity for the hateful people of Israel and for the opposition to start saying, even America doesn't justify Israel. Even they are in a situation, the Jews should be blamed. The Israelis are the ones who provokes everything. It gives time to the evil media channels to awaken people to the hatred of Israel more and more. In the beginning, when we first struck, the whole world was behind us because they knew what was happening, just like October 7th. And now the time that goes by gives the European countries and the Muslims media channels to influence the people and the public opinion against Israel, to say Israel is the mother of all evil, Israel is the attacker, Israel is the one who strikes, Israel needs to be eliminated, Israel has to be taken out. And more voices are sounded like this. But should America would join with Israel right from the beginning, all these noises would have been finished, because Iran would have been done within a day or two. That's it. If Israel, a tiny nation like ours, was able to open a corridor of aerial access to every certain point in Iran without any hinders from their, with their, how do you call it, anti-aircraft batteries and anti-aircraft warfare, whatever. We opened the gate to get inside. If the Americans will come, there's not even a chance for one of their airplanes to be struck down, nothing. And yet they're not coming in. I don't understand why, because the matter is, it's not a war of Israel alone. This is the war from the free world
against the
you
regime.
Heard it already by Putin was saying, if America will join if America will join against Iran, there'll be a huge problem, whatever. He would have spoken. He cannot even take down a small nation like Ukraine, which is like nothing in comparison to Russia, and he already threatens the US. The thing is that people are playing a game of poker. They don't have the cards in their hands. And Israel, with no cards, we went striking straight forward, because we know that we are coming from a very, very dire situation. Golda Meir said it years ago. The biggest weapon that Israel has is that we have no choice. We have nowhere to go. We have nowhere to go, and we're not going to go. All these huge empires of the past, the pharaohs wanted to take us out, and the Babylonians wanted to take us out, and the Romans wanted to take us out, and the Greeks wanted to take us out, and the Nazis wanted to take us out. And we're still here, and we're still surviving, and we will be here by the grace of God forever. But those who's not going to join us right now, they will pay the price of history, because the radical Islam is infiltrating into everywhere around the world. And the minute they'll see that Israel is going down, they'll get such a backwind to strike forward anywhere else they can go. We are the last barrier between the world democracy and the regimes of tyranny and hatred. And that's the time for the world to stand together and push these people away.
Amen to that. And, again, for everybody who's watching, please know that, as always, we are constantly and always praying for the peace of Jerusalem. And I would encourage you to do that. Psalm 122 speaks about that. And that's something that we're passionate about now. Dupes is obviously in London. We know that you've all got busy lives, but I'm encouraging you this week.
But you know that I'm coming to the US. I'm coming next week on Monday. I'm coming to the US. I'm coming to New York. Staying here in London, it's very expensive, and hotels and all these kind of stuff. And also, there were some people that were asking me, maybe Dubi, you can come over and speak at our churches, at our synagogues, and just tell us the real truth. And they are willing to host us, some people. So we're really looking for anybody who really wants to hear me speak. at your church or your synagogue and just bring you the truth and what's happening, not only from the current actuality, but also from biblical, prophetic, spiritual perspectives. I'm more than happy to answer any
Yes.
calls and maybe if I'm in the area, whatever, to come over and just bring you the insight that we're sharing right here, because I'm not going to
Yes.
sit down and wait for something to happen. You know us, we want to be proactive, and we want to get where the rubber meets the road. If the Americans should get in and the public opinion needs to be set to a place where they can put their pressure on their congressmen or their senators, whoever has any influence in Washington, that's the time to do it. Because as you well know, God promised whoever stands with you and support you
Amen
will
to
be
that.
covered by the grace of God and will be blessed. And that's the time for all of us to get into that blessing and the
And I cannot
promises of
encourage you
God.
enough. If you are able to reach out to your local pastors, whatever church you're in, having Doobie be there in person and speak is such a powerful experience. Truly, I know. So I'm encouraging you, Dubes. What would be the best way for them to reach you if they wanted to get in touch with you to come and speak?
So first of all, it's easy. They can go on my email. It's easy. It's Tour Israel, one word, and then the number 4 and the letter U. So Tour Israel for you at
Yes,
gmail.com. And of course,
of
they can
course,
reach the ministry, and you will
always.
let them know how to get in touch with me. That's quite easy. I think that also through
Yes,
the House of Destiny,
for Israel for
I'm
you at
sure that they can
gmail.com.
do
That's
that.
exactly what it is.
Yes, that's right there.
So
That's right there. And also they can send me a WhatsApp if
yes,
they wanted, on my number, which is plus 972 524 340 830. But email
email's
is always
great.
valid. It's always good. And I would love to come over and speak to your churches
Yes.
and synagogues,
I
whoever's
again cannot
watching.
encourage that enough. But thank you so much for joining us. We continue praying, we continue trusting God that His will is going to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Dubes, thank you so much for joining me. We're praying for you and your family. And to everybody out there who's watching, thank you for your support. And please continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you so much.
we
We
do.
love you all. We love every supporter, everyone that is watching us. It's not obvious
Yes.
nowadays. There's so many bad spirits and people, and the devil is trying to come against us. But our people, the lovers of Israel, the people that are following us, we know that us together as real intercessors in the spirit, we're going to defeat the devil and make the people
Yes.
of God
Amen to that.
glorious.
And so God bless you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Israel Update.
Hello, friends. I'm Donna Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. We've also enhanced the prophecy database, meticulously updating it with new video content and profound insights. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding His revelations. As part of your membership, you'll also gain access to my prophecy blog, where I break down and analyze my father's prophecies, connecting them to current events. This blog will provide you with exclusive insights and a deeper understanding of how God's word is unfolding right now. And we're offering something truly special: exclusive analysis sessions available only to members of the Prophecy Vault. These sessions will go beyond the surface, providing in-depth exploration of specific prophecies and their implications for today and the future. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. So I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
Over 40 years ago, Kim and I embarked on a ministry journey that has now become a global network through the power of the internet. As part of this pioneering work, we are gathering people from all over the world to worship together, grow in our faith, and inspire hope through an uplifting message. We are dedicated to reaching out with God's message of hope and love to all without discrimination or judgment. We invite you to join our House of Destiny free membership that allows you to connect with members from around the world. Through our prayer wall, you can post your requests and have others join us in prayer. It's so powerful when the saints gather and believe for a breakthrough. We invite you to join today. Simply click the online church login and sign up. Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. We are here for you, and we have worked hard to provide the resources and tools to help you grow in your faith. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.